Hello and welcome to the Voice of Cranbridge. This series is aimed at sharing with you the essence of Cranbridge. My name is Afiq and allow me to take you through the introduction of Cranbridge.
Located just 5 minutes away from the KL City Centre, Cranbridge Tutorial Centre offers affordable British education through the Pearson Edexcel syllabus for reception level up to O and A levels. The school started with just 8 students in the first year attending its full-time tuition course. That year, 2 of the students won 3 awards for the highest in Malaysia in the Pearson Edexcel O-Levels examinations for English, Economics and Accounting. Since its beginning, Cranbridge has kept up a tradition of excellence, its proudest achievement being the highest in the world for the further pure mathematics in the Pearson Edexcel O-Level examinations in 2018.
Choosing the right school for your child can be quite daunting. One of the biggest issues faced by many parents is whether or not your child can be developed to their full potential. Cranbridge Tutorial Centre's core belief is that all children can and will learn. Today I'll be speaking to Mrs. Rena Logan, the principal of Cranbridge Tutorial Centres, as well as the co-founder of Cranbridge Education Group, Sendirian Berhad. With over 35 years of experience in education, she had taught in rural schools under the Felder scheme, government schools, as well as international schools. And with all that experience and knowledge up her sleeve, there's no one better to talk about the vision of Cranbridge Tutorial Centres other than Mrs. Logan herself. Welcome to the show, Mrs. Logan, and thank you so much for spending your time with us.
It's my pleasure.
All right, let's start off with the vision that you put forth for the Cranbridge Tutorial Centre. That is, all children can and will learn. And what actually motivates you to start off this tutorial centre to begin with?
Okay. In May 2015, a friend of mine, a colleague, we were always talking about what we should do after retirement. We had been in education line for very many years, and we believed that even after we retire, we could still provide the education and develop as many children as we can to be good leaders, to be good citizens of the world. So together with the late Mr. Logan, who was the founder as well of the school, we put up tuition center, and it was mainly an afternoon or after school tuition center. And it was also at this time where we had students who were coming to us from international schools who wanted full-time tuition, that is back-to-back lessons, and they were quite willing to come as early as the late mornings. So this kind of led us to think that maybe we could develop it even further by giving them more guided and personalized classes. And at the same time, a personal experience where my grandson was just 3 then, he was refusing to go to preschool simply because he found that the subject matter that they thought was way below what he was actually had gained through interaction with the family, with interaction with the internet and so on. So we brought him as like a guinea pig to test him out. And surprisingly, he caught on very fast, enjoyed school, and this kind of opened up the primary section of the tutorial center.
I see.
Yes.
Well, I'm sure most of the viewers are also experience the same thing. You know, with the exposures of technology these days, they don't have to wait until the age of 7 to begin their second primary schools.
Yes.
So they can start off as early as 3 years old, even. So what do you think about this positive approach that you take, and how do you think the students could apply in real life in terms of this positive approach?
Okay. Our vision, as I said before, is all children can and will learn, providing them with the right environment, conducive learning, and proper materials. So with that, we came up with this personalized attention. Now, when I say personalized attention, it means simply that when students come to us, they come with varying abilities. There are the very fast learners and also the very slow or late bloomers. And we have had children actually who have come to us who had refused to go to school. And well, I would say that these people, when they came to us with our personalized attention, that is where we provide lessons in small classroom size, meaning student-teacher ratio is balanced, it's not too many, there's no cramming in class, the student feels at home, more encouraging, more, he builds up a rapport with the teacher understands, and there's a mutual trust and bonding. So with this, the teachers are able to actually tailor to the needs of the student.
So it's the engagement between teachers and students.
That is right. The positive engagement between them, the trust they have, and the teachers actually willing to go an extra mile to understand what is the drawback or the challenge that they're facing in their class with these students.
Well, you did mention something about conducive environment. What sort of conducive environment could you please elaborate more in terms of what we have to offer in Cranbridge?
Conducive environment here means we have a kind of relaxed atmosphere in the school. You see, we are one of those very few schools which start school at 10 in the morning, much to the surprise of a lot of parents. But the simple reason is we believe that a child who is less stressed, a parent who is less annoyed with the traffic, comes to school happily, dropping the child, and having an environment where there is no need for unwanted regimentation. The child will feel very relaxed, very, it becomes like a school is a user-friendly kind of thing. So they settle in and they are ready for learning. So that's what I mean by conducive. Now, besides that, we have lessons in our school which are paced out. Even though we see the child between 10 and 3 o'clock, the time is divided with very well planned, paced out lessons. And in fact, we give them an interval for chill, we call our break chill, and also a lunch break. So after lunch, the children go back to lessons. So this is what I mean by conducive environment. And it is safe. The children are safe, they know that the teachers are there for them, and we have friends, they have friends. Because with peer group support, the children can go very far.
Oh, you did mention safe. I think that's one of the biggest issues as well faced by many parents, especially when it comes to issue of bullying in schools.
Yes. Talking about bullying now, it's very interesting because we have had students who have come to us and said that in their former schools, they were bullied. They were bullied because, well, of course, we all know it's always the color of the skin. So these students, when they come to Cranbridge, they felt that there was no such thing. There's no bullying because everyone is a friend. Everyone is like a member of a family. So here we inculcate in our children the values of living together, working together, sharing. And on the other hand, we've also had bullies who were bullies in their old schools. But when they come to us, they kind of reformed. They reformed simply because if we look at if we go back to how researchers say about bullying, it all stems out with the simple thing that factors at attention seeking.
Sure.
So with them coming to us with the small numbers, they get all the attention. So there's no bullying. Yeah.
And in terms of engagement, like you mentioned earlier, engagement with the students and teachers, how do you go about looking for, searching for best teachers. To bring into Cambridge?
We actually hand select our teachers. We're very particular about language because we are doing the British syllabus. So with British syllabus, we expect the teachers to have a very high standard of the language. They should be fluent because they're going to be imparting knowledge to the children that are in their hand. And so most of the teachers we take, they are very well versed, not just in the language, but also in their subject matter. Talking about subject matter, in Cranbridge, we have subject teachers. A simple reason why we go with subject teaching and not pastoral care in some schools as some schools do, is that the subject matter means the child is left in the hands of one particular teacher to be taught until it comes to a certain level. It's not like I finish this term, this academic year, he passes on to a new teacher who has to start all over and try to find out what's the best in this child.
So basically, the teacher follows
The
through
teacher
whole-
follows through at
I
least
see.
for a couple of years. Then we have another level when it's taken over by another teacher. So by this time, the teacher understands the child has developed himself to doing well in the paper, whatever subjects they're doing. At the same time, our teachers, they play the role of mentor. They are very encouraging. Punishment is very rare because we believe that speaking to the child, finding out why he couldn't finish his homework, for example, is better than telling him write lines or stay back during break time and complete. Because sometimes students living in this kind of a stressed up world, we all have tendencies to not to do work for simple reasons, like maybe the child had something on and he couldn't finish it, and also sometimes parents may have taken them out and they go back late. So we don't jump the gun by punishing the child. So our teachers are well trained with that. They are made to communicate with the child. They also speak to the parents as well. We use our homework book, which we call the homework log, to communicate. And also we have communication through WhatsApp or even email with the parents. This is actually a support we get from parents to develop their child.
So speaking of online WhatsApp, emails, and all those sorts, what is we had recently a coronavirus issue of lockdown and all that. How does that actually affect your institution?
Very interesting because just speaking about my teachers again, we have the old and young teachers. Our team consists of old and young, and both this group, they blend very well, and they're ready to adapt to changes. And with the latest lockdown because of the pandemic, it saw our young teachers forming a kind of support group to help the older members of their team, teach them to give them more knowledge on technology online. So these tech-savvy teachers actually taught the older members of the staff how to go into Google Classroom, to use Zoom, etc. And it's very interesting because we are one of those very few schools where we held virtual lessons daily. Many children in other schools, when we heard from parents, they complained that the teachers never appeared, the child was just given a lot of questions on these Google Classroom and links, and they have to do work by themselves. Whereas we were appreciated because our teachers, their dedication, made them come up with very interesting lessons whereby their intention was the child should not miss out the lessons. So I would appreciate the teachers who did this great job, and I think they will do even better. Yeah,
that's right. And as we are all aware, that being in education itself is not merely academic; it's also about being socially equipped, so that children can go out there and basically be part of the community. So how do you prepare children from Cranbridge when it comes to being socially being part of the community?
We know that a child or any human needs all the 5 or let's say 4 main quadrants to develop their skills and better themselves in life. That is the social, emotional, psychology, the physical, and also the IQ. So all these quotients put into our curriculum. How is this? We actually provide a lot of activities apart from gaining knowledge. Our children have classes or lessons with activities. We throw in a lot of fun activities because coming to school should be something that they wake up and look forward to. And our fun activities are not just come here and go out for a picnic. Our activities are more or less developed or tailored to bring about the best in our children, to make them realize or share the qualities that they have in them. For example, we do a lot of outreach programs.
What are the outreach programs that you have done?
Yeah, the outreach programs we have done since to date is a Rohingya classroom visit. The Rohingya classroom visit was very interesting because it was like one of our pioneer activities where it was all organized by our students, headed by one of our refugee students, Hassan, and they put together their effort and collected a lot of items to share with us underprivileged children. So we collected books, we had people who actually given cash, which we gave to the school for some form of charity, and we had meals provided by some people, so we shared. Our children went in there, they thoroughly enjoyed playing with the children, sitting on the mat, maybe for some of them first time in their life. They ate with their fingers just like the Rohingya children. It was good because when they came back, we had a post-mortem. We asked our students what they had learned, what they had actually seen, like an eye-opener. What did they realize there? Experience. And it was great because a lot of them actually for the first time realized that there were people out there who had been displaced, who have been made homeless, and they are refugees. And they said, I am very lucky, I've got a bed and I've got a roof over my head. So that's one of our programs. Then we had an old folks home visit whereby our children, again,
old folks?
Yes.
Interesting.
Interesting, isn't it? Because when we say old folks, we think of them sitting in their wheelchairs and bedbound, and that's exactly what our children saw. Because when we visited them, the children were fascinated because the people that they saw, some of them were in bed with tubes, they were intubated and so on. But we allowed them to go in because they wanted to see what life would be when you grow older, and if you're not taken care of, the family cannot take care because of some reasons. And it was in the old folks home where the residents of the old folks teared when our children sang for them, gave them hugs, and they were very touched. And the children came back with very good memories.
And I'm sure this is a very good exposure for the kids to educate them about how to respect elderly and take care of them, appreciate them.
Yes, and talking about that, when talking on the same line, a Ukrainian student of ours, he went back home and told his parents about the visit and what he learned and how he felt, and he told the mom and dad, I'll never do this to you all. So it was very touching when the mom told me that she really appreciated the school for having put in such programs which helps them develop beyond the books. Yeah. And we had many others. We had a visit to the special children who have what we call OKU. And again here we saw how our children have learned by now. The students were with us for many years. They already learned how to learn to give in. I'm capable, I've got my legs, I've got my hands. But they gave in to these children while they were playing games.
I see.
Yeah, just to make them feel good.
And that's without
anyone telling them. There was no teacher pushing them to give in to them. And finally, we did a beach combing. And that was a great experience for many of our students.
Where was it?
That was done in Edexcel. And beach combing, we went early in the morning. We gave them plastic bags. The children were geared up, wearing masks and gloves. And we had groups. We divided them in groups. And they collected all the rubbish thrown onto the beach, and some had actually gone to the shore, and they picked up bags and bags of plastic and unwanted things. And at the end of the day, they learned that this is what we do. We go and enjoy, have a picnic, and then we happily leave all the rubbish. And where does it end up? Choking the ocean, choking the organisms that live in there. So these are part of our outreach programs, but they're all with an intention to develop our students to be good citizens of the world.
Interesting how Cranbridge took education way beyond just four walls.
Yes.
Right. And speaking of all that, since with the expansions of our education system now, what do you see Cranbridge Education Group in the next probably 10 years?
Good question. Because it's interesting because we very recently, during the lockdown period, we've been working very hard to move on with our expansion for the next, we're already 5 years at Tutorial Center, so the next stage was to go higher. And we were been given the approval by the Ministry of Education to establish an international school. And currently, we are working with the related agencies, government agencies, to fulfill, to carry on with the completing the project. So we hope to move in by January 2021. And moving there, it means we're moving to a bigger premise with better facilities. There are a lot of things that our children will benefit from. For example, we have robotics coming in. We're going to be putting in dance studio. That's going to be indoor games. And of course, we have art and design studio and science labs, etc., etc.
But I'm sure that those will still be in line with the visions of Cranbridge, where you have a certain number of ratios of students per class per teachers.
Yes.
Although you'll be moving to a bigger facilities.
Yes, most definitely. Parents can be assured that our vision still stays. We still believe in that child can and will learn. And we still believe that we will carry on with our personalized attention, the small classroom, and we will still ensure parents that we will get good results with all our ongoing programs in a better place, in a bigger place.
With the better facilities.
Better facilities.
All right. I guess if we were to go on, we'd probably
Yes, we
take the
will
whole day
go on for
talking.
the whole day.
And we'd like to thank you and all the best to Cranbridge for the new venture to this Cranbridge International School. And thank you so much for your time once again. And thank you, Mrs. Logan.
Thank you, Mr. Afiq.
I hope you enjoyed the session. And if you have further inquiries, do keep in touch on our live chat feature as well as our group chat on the PISF Virtual Fair. Follow Cranbridge on Instagram, Facebook, and its official website. And don't forget to click like, share, and subscribe to Cranbridge Edu Group on YouTube. Thank you for watching.